दुर्गे भवानी जनी तू मेरी मैठण माई कनी तू मेरी दुर्गे भवानी जनी.
The beautiful valleys of Uttarakhand can be deceptively peaceful. Neither landslides nor earthquakes were unknown to it. But the calamity of flash floods in 2013 wreaked havoc of unparalleled magnitude. The angry river left villages upon villages decimated in its wake. Soon after the disaster, immediate help did pour in from many different agencies. However, the question that loomed large for many was of long-term survival, of picking up the pieces and finding the strength to rebuild again. GAIL India Limited, with its project Srijan, stepped in to lend a helping hand. Working with clusters of 10 to 15 villages, Project Srijan, which means creation, was aimed at creating models of holistic development that could be replicated in other affected areas.
After the disaster and the natural calamity which happened, we have taken a project for re-establishing all those villages, and especially the weaker section of the society, largely women's and the girl child, where we are trying to help them to rebuild their houses, to rebuild their local resources. And that project we have taken with the help of a local NGO based on the need assessments, and subsequently the impact assessment is being evaluated, and we'll continue to go through with them till such time they are able to establish themselves in the same level of operation which they were before this disaster.
Srijan utilizes a three-pronged strategy of capacity building, mitigation planning, and infrastructure and asset creation to rehabilitate communities. The initiative aims at encouraging disaster-proof construction technologies, livelihood sustenance and enterprise, and facilitating other mitigating services for disasters. For implementation of the project, GAIL has roped in Manav Bharti, a local NGO who have extensive experience in disaster management, community building and advocacy.
So we have a multi-tier selection process which is at the work center where the CSR project is actually going to be implemented, and also at the corporate level where the CSR project is going to be approved. So at both these levels, there are at least two level cross-functional committees. Cross-functional committees give us the advantage A, that it gives us the required transparency, and more importantly, we get the buy-in of different functional groups, the internal stakeholders, which is very critical for the success of the CSR project.
One of the most pressing concerns for GAIL was to bring healthcare to the remote areas that after the disaster had become even more isolated. The most affected in these areas are seniors who often live alone because their children have moved to cities to look for work. For one such village, Riyadi, the nearest family healthcare center is 10 kilometers away. The weekly visit of the GAIL HelpAge MMU vans are much awaited.
जब ये नहीं आते थे तो बहुत समस्या थी हमारे गांव में कि लोग एक गोली के लिए भी अगस्तमनी या रुद्रप्रयाग जाते थे दवाइयों के लिए, तो एक गोली के लिए मैंने कि 100, 200, 400 रुपये खर्च करना पड़ता था। यहाँ से गाड़ी में जाना आना, दिन बर्बाद करना। यहाँ पे जो दवाई मिलती है तो फ्री मिलती है, जो टेस्ट होता है फ्री सेवा है।
ये बड़ी बोल दी ना, रोटी खाना बाद रात में यो दिन यो बोल दी, ठीक है। आइए आधा गोल सुबह रोटी खाना बाद आधा रात में रोटी खाना बाद.
One of the first priorities of Project Srijan was infrastructure and asset creation for the people of Rudraprayag. An important step in rehabilitation is to ensure that a similar natural disaster would not wreak havoc of such great magnitude again. GAIL's Srijan initiative is trying to promote disaster-proof construction technologies by addressing the problems at grassroots levels, training local masons to create stronger, better buildings. Manju Devi, her husband and their 4 children count themselves lucky because they all survived. They had seen their land and house getting washed away. They managed to scrape together one room in which the 6 of them lived along with some livestock.
एक कमरे में तो बहुत तकलीफ आती थी. वहीं बच्चे रहते थे, वहीं खाते थे, वहीं पढ़ाई करते थे, हैं? वहीं हम पूरे परिवार वहीं रहते थे तो एक कमरे में.
Under Project Srijan, GAIL provided a low-cost alternative to expensive brick and cement houses. An alternative that was sustainable and also eco-friendly. Bamboo houses combined with local materials were used to provide quick housing to the flood-affected people.
फायदा हुआ हमको. एक ही कमरा देने के लिए तो अब 2 कमरे हो गए, एक किचन हो गया, हैं? एक टॉयलेट हुआ. टॉयलेट के लिए भी हमको बहुत परेशानी थी. टॉयलेट भी मिला हमको, एक कमरा, एक किचन भी मिला. हम अब बहुत खुश हैं उसमें.
To ensure that construction best practices are followed in the future, Srijan trained local masons in the specialized skill of disaster-proof construction.
जो ट्रेनिंग में सीखा उस काम हमने पहले तक कहीं नहीं किया था, तभी तो मकानों पे दराड़ी पड़े. इन्होंने बहुत कुछ सिखाया हमें को कि ऐसा करके कॉलम पड़ते हैं, ऐसा करके पत्थर डाल जाते हैं. इन पत्थरों पे जो है कि शक नहीं होने चाहिए, दीवारों पर दरार नहीं आनी चाहिए.
The up-and-coming Community Rehabilitation and Training Center in Sansari is an example of GAIL India Limited's commitment to promote disaster-proof technology. This center, that will soon be a hub for skills and enterprise training, is being built to withstand any natural disaster. The placement of bricks and stone, designing of columns, locking of frames, all are driven by a single purpose. That to make the building stand tall in face of future earthquakes or floods.
पूरा इसका जो कॉलम खड़ा किया गया है, कॉलम का समझ लीजिए कि प्लिंथ बीम से 2 मीटर नीचे और 1.5 मीटर लंबाई गुने 1.5 मीटर चौड़ाई की चौक बना हुआ है. और उसको जाकर बीम पर किया है उसको, क्योंकि पूरा ये पैर की तरह उसकी बना हुआ है.
Prior to the 2013 calamity, Rudraprayag was a bustling town, an essential stop for tourists en route to Kedarnath. Thousands of people whose livelihood depended on tourism lost not just their homes, but also their vocation in the blink of an eye. For many, survival meant finding new means of living. The question was, how?